Hi, welcome to Fight Me. My name is Jamie Bader. I'm going to be your host today, along with our co-host, Chad Bader, my husband. Today, we talk about a recent conversation that I was a part of. I needed coaching, I needed feedback, I needed all the things, and I had a lot of emotion around it. And so this is a chance for you to witness how Chad actually coached me into a very safe and helpful space, seeing where I had fallen short in some of my assumptions, some of my interpretations, things like that. So it's a fun conversation. We're so glad to have you. Thank you for coming, and let's go. So, welcome to Fight Me.
I'm glad to be here once again.
So glad to have you.
Yeah.
We are jumping in today with a fun episode.
Okay.
Actually, it's a lot more about like a recent conversation I had with some people,
Okay.
and I was a little bothered by it.
All right.
And so I came home to you.
Okay.
And you remember this, and you.
I do.
Yeah. Please remember this.
Okay.
And you helped
I hope
me. You guided me through kind of like the narrative that was going on in my head, the assumptions that I had, and all these things.
All the story and plots.
Oh
lines.
my goodness, so many stories, right? And so many thoughts, and how I was like taking those that narrative, and I was essentially creating these beliefs from it, which weren't really helpful at all.
They usually aren't.
No, well, sometimes they can be. Sometimes they're a lot of times when especially when we come in with a complaint, maybe they're not so healthy.
Okay.
And so anyway, this is kind of a fun chance for Chad to jump on the other side of the coaching space and help me.
I am not a coach.
Just
in a
lot
loving
of ways,
husband.
just a loving husband. Yes, we can say that. And so that's very much Coach E, very similar. And I don't know, maybe I've trained you to ask me the right questions.
Possibly.
So anyway, you know me really well. So you were really able to speak into my life. And so that was really helpful.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm glad to help.
Okay. I know you are. And so that's why we're also going to talk about it today.
Okay.
But before that, we're just going to get a little bit of let's just start with something fun. Yeah.
Funny news.
So
I think two stories stuck out to me for two reasons. So
okay.
We'll do the first one first. And the reason why it stuck out to me was because like our family home, like where our kids were born and where we moved as soon as we were married, was Raleigh, North Carolina.
Raleigh.
And a lot of people from the Carolinas will go to Gatlinburg, Tennessee.
Okay.
Like on vacation.
Sure.
So we see that like all the time. People are like, "What are you doing this weekend?" "I'm going to Gatlinburg."
Oh,
and
okay.
So it's kind of like a family place. I think there's like a Great Wolf Lodge there. There's just like a little family. There's lots of trails to hike. We've actually never been, but heard it's a beautiful place. Yeah. So, but I share this story because there's a candy store there that's been broken in now for the fourth time by a bear.
By a bear?
Yes.
I thought you were going to say like a 5-year-old or something like that.
Ransacked the place.
Ransacked it.
Yep.
Specifically one type of candy or all the candies?
All the candies.
Man, he's just like an all in.
He's all in.
I was thinking maybe he'd like, target.
Talk about a sweet tooth.
Sweet tooth. I thought he might target something like Smarties.
It's called Glades homemade candies. Sorry.
Glades homemade candy. Yeah.
Glades homemade candies.
Yum.
Is the name of the place. And so it's been, this is the fourth episode of this happening. They think it's the same bear. Did
they name it?
I don't know. I do not see a name on the bear yet.
Please name this bear.
Sure. And so they've reported it to the authorities. They're investigating the case. They're actually trying to like hunt down this bear now. And the store is hoping now that the bear will be relocated, rehomed to
another candy store,
to a different region.
Okay.
So
are they baiting it with candy?
Apparently, but they've gone like all out in like their preventative measures, like try to like,
taking the sugar out of the candy.
Even seal off like the garbage bins in the back.
Okay.
Like the dumpsters.
Standard. That's
like,
a standard
but
practice.
I mean like the bear proof them. But it just broke in through the front door, like knocked down the glass door, everything.
Oh, I love it. I love this bear.
That's right.
It's my favorite. Actually, I feel like that's a little bit of like, a spirit that I might have a little bit. I would break into a candy store to get some candy.
Wasn't there like a candy? It's like, what would you do for like a Mars bar or something like that?
Well, we know.
It's like
certainly.
now the bear knows. I mean,
I doubt they have Mars bar. Probably way better.
I'm sure. I'm sure it's all different types of candies. But that was a funny story.
I do love that. And also, we're not sponsored by them, but please feel free to reach out if you'd like to sponsor us. I would love to receive candy from this homemade candy store.
Yeah. Now, the other story that popped up for me in like funny news or quirky news resonated with me because as a kid, like when I had time to go, when we had to go to the library when we were in like elementary school.
Oh, yeah.
Like the books that I was always drawn to were the ones like about Bigfoot, or UFOs, or things like that. Those were things that intrigued me.
Okay, and or the dingo ate my baby.
I think that's from a movie.
No, well, I also read the book though. So like,
okay.
Probably in like grade school. I don't even know. Man, I
sounds
probably
terrifying.
Should not have been reading that book at that age.
Sasquatch.
Okay, anyway, so that sounds more interesting.
So, but one of those books and one of the things that always came up was the Loch Ness Monster.
Of course.
And so there's been this naturalist that apparently, I didn't know about this, but he's like dedicated his entire life to try to find Nessie.
He's
been on the search for Nessie over 5 decades.
Wow, low-key obsessed.
His name is Adrian Shine.
Okay.
And just recently, he has now come out and said he thinks that Nessie is a hoax.
Now.
He's convinced. Yep.
Oh, how is he feeling?
After over 5 decades of research on the look for this thing.
Is he depressed? We should check on him.
No, he seemed like he was in good spirits based on like the news article that I'd read.
Oh, it could be a front. Everyone check on this guy.
So Adrian
spent his whole life.
Spent his whole. They've been given him and his team have been given over like £1 million worth of like equipment to do their research.
Wow. He was paid obviously for this.
I mean, I didn't even know that this was like a job that existed, but there was research going into this.
Wow.
So full time apparently, heavy money invested.
5 decades.
Over 5 decades.
Wow. Okay.
Spent. And now he says it's a hoax.
I want to know what data he got that he was like, oh, hoax.
So after all his research, apparently he says that he thinks that like the sightings that people are claiming, and that there's documentation of this, is that it's the ship waves that are created there, like in the loch.
Really? That seems like a stretch.
Because like apparently they have like these like unusual shapes, and sometimes they hump. Like they can have like double humps or whatever.
Yeah.
So, Anyway, so that was like and then also rock formations and stuff are common explanations.
Man, I just feel like
talk about taking the wind out of my sails.
Yeah, I know.
Little Chad would be crushed.
Oh, not even just little Chad, but like imagine being this guy, like big Adrian.
Yeah.
Right, Adrian is his name. I
think. Yeah.
Yeah, like 5 decades.
Over 5 decades of research.
Poor fella.
I mean, at least it's verified.
Definitely check on that guy. He's having a minute, I do believe.
Yeah, exactly.
So you might need a coach or a therapist or both or all of the above.
Probably a therapist, yeah.
Or maybe we could just like...
He's going through some trauma.
Know. Yeah, maybe a little bit of drama.
Yep.
A little trauma.
So...
Not having Nessie.
So those are two stories I thought that were kind of like stuck out to me over the past week. That
very animal creature-ish focused.
Okay.
And this is not far-fetched, I feel like, coming from you. Be it like, I don't know, loving the animals.
Sure.
Loving those things. I love the stories, though. My favorite still, I think, is the bear and the candy.
Well, I wanted to share some lighthearted news because I feel like the last week or 2 weeks have been kind of a...
Yeah, it's been a bit of a heavy
weeks.
Little bit of a mini season right here with just political news and all the things. We will not be talking politics, FYI.
Yeah, national news, world news,
absolutely, universe news,
so
everything.
That's right.
Yeah, I mean UFO news, maybe they got news. So I don't know. We'd like to know what that news is if it's true. Okay, love it. So thank you for the opening.
Okay.
Let's dig into this is our news. This was my news as of a little bit recently.
Okay.
I came home, right? I was gone.
This was like an hour ago.
Yeah.
That's how recent.
Exactly. Right.
No, we said, hurry up. Let's run down and record a podcast.
Quick. We have something to talk about. No, this was okay. This was, let's see.
We don't have to discuss.
We're not going to just tell details, right, babe? No, we don't have to.
No,
we get to choose.
It was recent.
How many details we want to tell. And so, so I came home. I was gone.
Yep.
An early meeting. I was out on the road. I was in a meeting on the road with my ear pods, right?
Okay.
Driving. I was not present. I was listening.
Yeah.
And also wanted to be part. And so I came home a little distressed. I was fine. And then I gave myself a little bit too much thinking time where I let my thoughts run a bit.
Yeah.
And I started analyzing. And I don't know if anyone else can resonate with this. When you get in a situation and then you have all these question marks around what just happened.
Yeah.
Why do I have a feeling about it? Maybe like either a sad feeling or a frustrated feeling or, like mini anger feeling towards this conversation. And like, what did I do? What did they do?
Sure.
So I gave myself a little bit too much time to analyze. And then I started the narrative started to write itself.
Yeah.
And the narrative was really bringing me down. And my first thought was
but you came in.
I what?
No, but you came in so you arrived home after this.
Yeah.
And I was already home. I was doing some office work.
Yeah, he was quite happy and fine.
And I realized the frustration level and
was
pretty palpable.
Yes, it was. Because I had the whole way home.
And so thankfully
I was singing the whole Greatest Showman. I turned on the Greatest Showman on the way home and I was like, I just need to belt this out.
Yeah.
And I was in my car and I was like, all right, these are some really good ballads.
Sure.
Get that energy out. Halfway home, I was like, I just want to see Chad. I really need to ask him.
There was an obvious vibe as soon as you'd walked in the door.
Yes.
And I was like, it wasn't greeted by the jeer of the joyful Jamie. So
no,
I was like, well, immediately I was like, well, what did I do? But quickly,
I want to tell you what you did first. He goes, babe, have you eaten yet? And I hadn't. It was 2 p.m.
You could have been hangry.
I was a little hangry.
Yeah.
And so Chad being awesome, he was like, honey, let me just make you something. Let's first solve this physical need and then maybe this mental space can clear up. So he literally was cooking me food as I was venting. Okay, so let's get to the story.
Go for it.
I was on a call and without sharing too many details, there was a person, there was 3 of us and we were I'm trying to obviously trying to be delicate, right? With details, but essentially in this conversation, I felt dismissed. I felt like my voice was dismissed. I was the only female in the conversation. I felt like my voice was dismissed, my questions, my coaching, my, we were kind of dual coaching, right?
Yeah.
And this person who was receiving the coaching had a lot of questions and obviously we wanted to help and they had requested that. And so there was a lot of okay, let's do what we can. So we began coaching towards a very specific vision and all really excited about where this could go. And I started to notice, now mind you, I was the only one on audio, right?
There you go.
So my face wasn't really present and I wasn't in person, right? So there was a little bit of disconnect and I was driving in Guatemala traffic at high traffic time. So 100% I was just trying to stay alive. 50%, 75% trying to stay alive. 25-ish% trying to add value to this conversation. And what I noticed, not in the beginning so much, But what I noticed towards the end of the conversation, that I was starting to feel like what I was trying to add value to was being dismissed by the other parties. And as I kept asking questions, like I would interject and ask questions, or I would try and, what I felt like was a disruption towards like maybe a belief or something that could
something to hone in on.
Yeah, something that it was just like brush off, and this, other person was given more attention. And so there's the there's the human in me right there. Like, oh, great. Now I'm not that good. So here's where the beliefs start coming in. As I was analyzing, I was like, man, why wouldn't anyone want to hear like what I have to say, right?
Sure.
What about what I was saying was not helpful? Like I started to analyze myself. Like, what did I do wrong? That was where my first thought went. And so like, not everyone's first thought is what they did wrong. Some people's first thought is, what did the other person do wrong? And that's always interesting, because you want to know where your mind goes first when there's a complaint.
Yeah.
Is it you or someone else or something? And so this whole dismissive part got me down, and my belief started turning into, I'm not good enough. Yeah. I don't have enough to add. I'm not only am I not good enough as a human, I don't have anything to contribute, but I'm not good enough as a coach. My questions aren't stand out. Like, all these things started popping up in my head.
All lies.
Okay. Oh, thank you. And this is why I'm like, this is why I need feedback. This is why I need someone to actually like be like, Jamie, stop. Like, stop.
Yeah. You started doing the death cycle.
Yes, it was just this spinning cycle of like, I'm not good enough. And then here's proof. Okay. And so I'm not good enough, and here's more proof.
Yeah.
And so talk to me about like what came up for you as you were cooking me food.
Sure.
I was hungry.
Sure.
And a bit emotional, not a ton, but emotional for sure.
We only used 2 boxes of Kleenex.
Only 2 boxes.
That's not true. There was actually 0 tears.
Yeah, there were 0 tears, but there was a lot of emotion.
Sure.
Okay, so
frustration.
Let's walk a little bit through how this played out.
Well, I mean, I think the first thing, I was just inquisitive of just asking questions, kind of like what was being shared, what was
we were trying to get down.
Yeah, what was the context of the conversation, that kind of thing, and also. So the first thing I want to like pointed out was like, well, within the conversation, like within the meeting, you were the only one that was on audio.
Yeah.
And so
you couldn't see my face or my expressions.
So frequently, I mean, we do like the nature of what we do. I mean, oftentimes we're like Zoom meetings. We don't have a lot of face-to-face meetings with international people.
Yeah.
So like when we're dealing with people back in the States and stuff like that, and having meetings, I think it's easier to be dismissive of people that are just in audio.
Sure, because their face,
because you just don't get and that was the other thing is, you're not getting they're not seeing your facial reactions,
which might have been a good thing.
You're not able to like even raise your hand.
Sure.
And you're not even able to give the facial cues that you're not done talking.
Yeah,
and so sometimes it's like, oh, I have more to add, and then but if you can't see their face, you just don't pick up on those things.
Yeah. And so that was good for me to hear from Chad, like, hey, don't forget, like the way you showed up without this something you couldn't control.
Sure.
You showed up like this.
Yeah. And I did say, maybe that's not like the best route. Right. Maybe it's not always good to jump on calls like that.
Yeah.
Or just say, hey, I have to kind of take a break from this one.
Yeah.
I know that you guys want me there, but I think it's best for everybody that maybe I'm not included in this call.
Yeah, no, and that would have been the responsible thing to do, to recognize that this is not like and I love that you pointed that out. I would have loved to have had more self-awareness about this. It's specifically, now I do. I mean, now I have the data and I can be like, hey, I know this is not the most effective way for me to communicate right now.
And usually you're really good at that. But
well, thank you. Yeah, usually I can say I've done some work and I am much better than I used to be.
I think oftentimes like we feel like just because someone asks for like our presence, we have to give it to them.
Sure.
Yes. And so I know I've struggled with that. It's like, but sometimes I think we also need to recognize, how am I going to actually like show up in this space, and how am I going to be recognized? Is this going to be like an ideal an ideal platform for me to actually exchange and convey my thoughts. And
Yeah.
so if you can't answer those things like affirmatively, then maybe it's best that you just back out of the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, and so that's actually what started to
or
happen towards
postpone it or reschedule it and
Right.
say, or can we just wait like an hour until I'm in a better area?
Yeah, and so that's actually what started to happen, like kind of naturally though, but not out of like, oh, I'm going to be responsible and thoughtful, and I'm just going to like step out of the conversation. It was passive aggressive.
Yeah, but
I was straight
you
up
started
like,
doing that
okay,
in the
now I'm just
middle.
not going to talk.
Then you started doing it in the middle of the conversation.
Absolutely. Okay, so human.
So you'd already
don't-
jumped in the conversation.
Oh yeah,
but then it was like, okay.
So it was in the conversation. It was
Sure.
it was not ideal. You could hear my voice for sure.
Yeah.
And then I started to have this like feeling of, first of all, my questions aren't as good. They're being dismissed.
Yeah.
And then that's when I started noticing myself having some like emotion rise up in it. And I'm like, okay, there's a reason I'm frustrated.
Yeah.
And I feel like the reason I started to get frustrated was, one, my pride, that I was thinking that I could have something like, definitely noticed that like I wanted to have good questions.
Yeah.
And I was also recognizing that I was not in a place like where I could fully listen and contribute. So like that blocked me from, I feel like, really having a thoughtful question, or like something that could be even acknowledged as a good question. Hey, that's a great question. Because oftentimes like you get these mini feedbacks from your clients that are like, oh, wow, that was a good question. Give me a second. And it's like, okay, you're headed in that right direction. Well, there was none of that feedback. So I'm like, yikes. All right. But there was feedback from the other person.
Sure.
And so like, okay, ouch for pride.
Yeah.
I'm going to highly recognize that it was that. Not my finest moment in my mind towards myself.
Sure.
Also at the same time, because I'm on my strengths finders test, like what came up was my top one is empathy. So my top one was empathy, which means I am able to see like
I think it was empathy for everyone except for your husband.
Oh, baby. No, we have. Imagine if I didn't have empathy towards you. Okay, no,
that's right.
I have a lot of empathy, and it can be a superpower in some ways, and in other ways, it can be not so resourceful.
Yeah, that's with any characteristic.
Well,
it's got its pros and cons.
100%. But let me just tell you where the cons were at this moment.
Tell me.
The cons were that I could tell. I literally could see in my mind the reasoning behind like everyone's point of view. I could see why the person receiving the coaching didn't like my questions. I could see why I didn't like my questions. I could see why some random person in Africa didn't like my question and thought like also dismissed me, even though they weren't even there. I saw the point of the view of the other coach that was asking questions of like, oh, I could see why that wasn't helpful. Or like I started creating these narratives around empathy of like seeing all these other point of views. It just gave me more fuel to feel bad about myself. It really did.
That's the right kind of fuel.
No, it was.
No,
it was terrible.
That's terrible.
And so for anyone else that overanalyzes and is empathetic or
textbook overanalyzers.
Wait, who? You?
No, just saying.
Yeah, Okay, let me just give y'all heads up. Chad is not an overanalyzer.
I probably don't think enough about things.
He's a normal analyzer.
Okay.
I would say healthy analyzer.
A normal analyzer.
Whatever normal is. Whatever standard that is.
Sure.
That being said, I started to just notice all the voices. The committee in my head was basically telling me, you're nothing. They're better. This other person's better than you. This other person's receiving better help from this other person. And then I just started to like shrink a little bit.
Yeah.
I started to feel like I was losing my power, like
Downsizing.
I was down a bit of a victim, started feeling that way. And for me, sometimes that can show up like passive aggressive, as in I'll be quiet.
Sure.
And unfortunately that showed up a bit. Although I didn't get any feedback that they noticed, I noticed. So that's what really matters. Right. I noticed how I was showing up.
Yeah. And I think one of the things that I pointed out that I know was really helpful for you was, so you made, you shed light on the fact that you were like the one female. So it was
it was the only female.
Two males and yourself.
Yep.
And there was the interaction taking place. And one of the things I think that I'd spoken to you was just kind of relaying like my own personal experience and how I relate to people. Like when I'm in a conversation.
I would love for you to, if you feel comfortable.
Sure. Yeah. I think, oftentimes like and so one of the things here that I noticed with Jamie's conversation is she negated like what the other people have going on like in their own lives, not only within the conversation, but how they interact with people and maybe some issues. Now, I don't know the two guys personally. I can't speak that they do have issues. Like they have, bents or slants or
you were in neutral
mindsets.
space.
I was in a neutral space.
Yeah.
But I was saying that for me, I mean, being transparent, I often, if it's two people in front of me and there's people giving feedback from various people in front of me, I tend to gravitate more towards male feedback.
Sure. And I actually do too.
And the reason being,
so it's interesting.
So just to like, and I think that it's something within me that just I want to say covet that, but it's something that I just look for the approval.
Sure. You're bent towards that.
I want the validation. I want that kind of thing.
Sure.
There's something in there within me that I'm just like, oh, I really appreciate it. I tend to hone in on that. And so it's not that I negate the feedback or don't hear it, but I probably will put more weight,
or more value,
and more value on the feedback that's coming from
a male. Yeah, and that's really interesting because that came into the story of even I also feel like validation or advice from a male, unless it's like a female thing. Where I'm like, I'm not going to add, like an older dude, like if they like my hair, I'm going to go to a girlfriend and be like, hey, how's it look? What's going on? Hey, or like what, so
how's
like
my makeup today.
Exactly. Right. Like that's just weird.
Right.
Maybe not for everyone, but it feels weird for me. So like I'll appropriately go to women if it's like a women thing.
Yeah.
But in general, especially when it comes to like life choices or like, I don't know, things that
I think you're looking for validation.
Yeah.
Or
yes.
feedback. Yeah.
Yes. And so when I wasn't getting it, and also noticing like when I wasn't getting that kind of created this like, well, I wasn't getting, I wasn't getting attention kind of like feeling inside. Like
and so it could have twofold. It could have been, maybe the person that was getting coached put more stock into the male feedback.
Yes.
And at the same time, like you had your thing going on where you weren't being validated from males, and it made you feel, like you said, like diminished.
Right, exactly. And it wasn't one of those things like where there wasn't a lot of validation floating around. I mean, there was a lot of validation.
Yeah.
It just wasn't directed towards me.
Yeah.
At least not during that portion of the conversation.
During this portion of the conversation.
There were other times where there were, for sure.
Yeah.
So I had to remember these things because like when you start to focus on the negative, you forget the positive.
Sure.
And also one thing that you pointed out to me when I was telling you the story, and I was just like, Chad was such a saint in that moment. He was listening to me just going a million miles an hour. I had all these like, I could understand this, this person's reasoning, that person's reasoning, I also had all these extra feelings inside of me of like, man, but at the same time, I'm really thankful this person was getting the value they needed because that was what they requested.
Exactly. Yep.
So I was like, okay, Jamie, it's not about you. And I have to say that. I have to say that often to myself. It's not about me. Because
we all need to say that.
Yeah, because I'm a human and you get so focused on yourself.
Sure.
And so I recognize that's like, a growth edge for me that I can be like, okay, Jamie, not about you. What was the biggest concern at that moment? Oh, that this person got clarity and value and something to look and work towards. And they did. And so like a huge win for the conversation, and also created a lot of feelings and thoughts for me and questions. But that being said, which is good because it's a win for me too. Cause now I can see when I show up like this,
like
what were these other people's experience of me? You know?
I think, the feedback from it for you wouldn't be to taking how you felt or how you were treated, but it's like, the feedback should be, how am I showing up? Is this really putting myself like in a good opportunity
Sure.
to be validated, to be heard.
Yeah. And the goal wasn't to be validated. I just noticed it was not there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. And so, if you can't put yourself in a situation like that, then maybe this isn't like the right timing or.
Oh yeah.
That
Exactly.
kind of thing.
And another thing that was really helpful for me
what I do know about, like I said, I don't know the individuals, but I know enough about them. I feel like where they don't seem like the type of people that
no. And you pointed that out.
Yeah.
You said, "Is this like a common thing for them?"
Right.
And I was like, no,
right.
no,
exactly.
It's not.
It seems like a one-off.
It is.
Yeah.
It was.
And so for me, I was like, okay, well, let's put everybody into the equation, not just put the onus on them.
Yep.
But like, how can we take ownership in that?
Yeah. And my ownership was forgetting the history I have with these people.
Yeah.
And how they have treated me in the past. Recognizing that this was a very different situation than we've been in as a group of 3. And also, like individually, like I have received a lot of positive feedback and encouragement and friendship. And like, so there's a lot of positive things on the other side that my mind was just overlooking.
Sure.
And because the focus was so heavy on, wow, what did I not get? Yeah. Like I'm literally like a baby and, behaving badly because I'm not getting what I want. And recognizing that.
Sure.
When I come into these conversations would be, I think, to like the things that I want to take action on from learning from this is to have a more generous interpretation or assumption of someone in real time, not just like, oh, this person I know over here, I'm going to have a very generous assumption of them.
Yeah.
But real time is different, right? So like, because there's constantly this like action, reaction, interaction, all these things happening, how can I have like in real time, a generous interpretation of this person as I'm being moved by the conversation, by the feelings associated, by the thoughts and narratives associated. And so like there is this thought of, okay, not only being generous about this person when they're not there, when you're not talking to them, about who they are, like everything like that, but when you're actually around them and being moved in real time, having that same generosity. Yeah. I did not have that. So let's just take note.
Yeah.
This was a learning thing for me.
Yeah.
That, okay, how do I behave when I don't get what I want? And this could also be good for our listeners. Like,
what can we say to our listeners?
Is like, how do you react when you don't get what you want?
Yeah.
How do you behave bad? Is it bad behavior? Likely.
Yeah.
Is it avoidant behavior, bad behavior, whatever? Do you turn to something to ease that feeling?
Sure.
A substance or like a habit or doom scrolling.
Chewy Chips Ahoy.
Chewy Chips Ahoy. Always have one on hand. And so like when you notice that happening, like how can you pivot? I think that's the thing is like,
how do you shift?
How can you shift, right? And some people feel blocked, and I certainly felt blocked in that moment because the emotions were high, right?
Yeah.
So when you have these high emotions, that can be a little bit challenging and tricky to pivot in the moment because I wasn't thinking rationally. I wasn't even thinking about pivot.
And I was like, usually a very rational person.
Thank you. No. Okay. I have my moments. I have a lot of moments.
Sure.
Because I'm very
I think
human.
that's good. That's good for our listeners. I think those 3 things that you pointed out are really, really good.
Now, how would you pivot?
How would I pivot? Where?
Yep. No, how would you pivot in the midst of that?
Oh,
it doesn't have to be the same.
Oof.
Yeah. Maybe give our listeners some thoughts of how you might pivot or how you have had to regulate the, like whatever it is, the emotion or the assumptions or thought, and then pivot.
Sure. Well, I think, like one of the things is like maybe even recognizing like in the moment, like how you're showing up, like for your case, like with the audio, just not like being seen.
Yeah.
And maybe it's best to like, instead of like continuing the conversation, or you're recognizing how you're making it feel. If you recognize in the moment that maybe that isn't how you want to show up,
Yeah.
and say, you can actually pause, take a break, and just like interrupt real quick and just say, "Hey guys, like this isn't.
I'm noticing this.
I'm noticing this, and so for this point, I think it's going to be more helpful if you guys just continue yourselves. I'm just gonna jump off the conversation.
Yes.
So like that would be like one.
That's responsible.
That would be like the responsible pivot.
Well, and actually, you know what? For like a split second, I had that thought.
Man.
And then I was like, that's dumb. I'm going to be passive aggressive.
No, just sit here and take it.
No, right.
So, yeah.
No, that was actually it. And the other thing that came up was basically, feeling like my voice was dismissed. And then my next question was.
And I think the other one too, and just to be Ted Lasso, is like be curious.
Be curious.
Like, just be curious. Like if this is how you're making it feel, maybe just like put yourself like, instead of doing the negative narrative, maybe be like, well, what else could be happening here?
Yeah.
That maybe like I'm unaware of.
100%. Because I'm not privy to like all the things happening.
Like I shared like about like, how I relate towards male feedback and that kind of thing. And so, like what else could be happening here?
Yeah. What else could be possible?
Stop the negative cycle and get curious for a second.
Get curious. No,
so maybe you're focusing so much on yourself that you're not asking better questions.
Yeah, and I think that's what ultimately came down to. It was like I was after asking the first question, recognizing that like that was when the cycle started.
Yeah.
And then it was just like downhill. It seemed it probably still added value because I didn't get any bad feedback. I gave myself bad feedback.
Right.
Recognizing
no one was giving you that feedback.
No, I know.
You were giving yourself that.
I was causing my own suffering.
Sure.
Causing it myself. It's all in my head, all in my thoughts. Yeah. No real world necessarily feedback,
and
except for
too. It's like if you ask yourself too, of like, if this is how I've experienced these people before, if this is how like my interactions have gone before, like if it's been nothing but positive, I mean, I think you need to ask yourself like this, also give your whomever the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
And say,
generative interpretation.
Be generous with your interpretation.
Yep.
Yeah.
Interpretation.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yep.
And I will say like the one question that I started to ask myself too was, how have I trained these people to treat me like this?
Okay.
Do you remember me saying that?
Oh yeah.
Because this can actually happen in places where, let's say you show up and you're just like super accommodating, you're super this, you're a very people pleasing type person. You train people essentially how to treat you.
Yeah.
Like if they know that you act like that, that's how you are. Like people will pick up on that and they work with how, we all do that. We're all like being trained by other people, like how to treat each other. Yeah. And the problem is when you train someone to treat you in a way that doesn't add value to you. Sure. So like you show people pleasing, maybe in a very unhealthy way, to the point where you give away too much of yourself. Now someone is going to be treating you and expecting that. Yeah. And you're going to start to resent these interactions. Right. Mm-hmm. Anyway. So like that being said, I was thinking to myself, how did I train them to treat me like this? Mm-hmm. Like, have I always shown up like this? Or, and again, it all came down to like remembering this was not like a repeated thing. Like this is not a pattern. They don't treat me like this every time. Right. And so I had to remember, although it is a valid question to ask when you do have a situation going not so great regularly. Sure. How have I had my own ownership in this?
Yeah. And that's easier for some people that tend to be more timid.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. I mean,
steamrolled.
Yep.
Can get steamrolled.
Personalities,
all that can come.
Yeah, and also that's
so. But it's also being self-aware of like, this is my personality and this is how I can 100%. Come off this. So.
And also to give the our listeners just a thought. So at one point I felt like I was losing my power.
Yeah.
And so like an action step that you can take typically is to, like, when you start to lose your power, you start to feel like the victim, like, woe's me, and like everything's, out of my control.
Yeah.
And you give your power away to whoever.
Mm-hmm.
And when I started to notice that, I think I was giving my power away to a lot of different things, especially the narrative in my head, but is to like interrupt it, take action, create what you actually want.
Yeah. And I think even, like I said, even in that case, taking like a moment and just bowing out of the conversation and continuing, that's also like, that's also taking your power back as well.
Yeah, it definitely giving yourself space.
Yeah, it's giving yourself space.
Yeah.
It's showing up
for sure.
Okay.
And I could have done a lot of things like make requests, or I could have even been disruptive and said, "Hey, this is what I'm noticing in the moment." And notice I didn't.
Right.
And so like there were a lot of things that I could have done that could have really helped resolve it.
Yeah.
And make it clear. And I still might have a conversation with like one of them or both of them. I mean, I think there's a lot of feedback for myself in that, and even how I can continue to grow and be, I don't know, start to really lean into what I value. Because I was definitely not living my values at that moment, or at least towards the end of that conversation, I could feel it.
Yeah.
And so I just want to say there was a lot of really helpful ways that you walked me through that.
Yeah. But the thing to remind yourself is just like grace is abundant. And so
100%.
Be graceful with yourself, be graceful with others, and realize that just because of like one experience, it doesn't have to write the whole narrative.
I imagine God was like shaking his head, like Jamie.
Yeah, it's like, hey, like, hey, blank slate it from here and erase this one, and we'll give you a redo.
Right. And I'll tell you another resource I missed in the moment.
What's that?
I could have, like, literally, when you recruit the Holy Spirit into your space, he acts immediately.
Yeah.
Like, and he's already at work. I just don't always see it. I don't acknowledge it, whatever.
Yeah.
I could have reached out in my mind.
Sure.
To him, like, what am I not seeing?
Yeah.
What am I?
And I think that's like a big pivot that I think
Huge
oftentimes
pivot.
like we don't take into account.
Yeah,
It's just like, hey, recenter, refocus, even in my mind. Like I said, I was talking this with someone today. Like a prayer doesn't have to be like a quiet time, close your eyes. It's just,
hey, I didn't want to close my eyes at the time. I was driving. Right.
God hears prayers all the time. So just,
100%.
recenter, just say, God, like how can I show up? Be with me in this.
And my biggest resource, honestly.
Or just make me aware of your presence.
Yeah. Make me aware of your presence. Please help me see why I don't have peace right now. Please help me.
And give me the words to say.
Sure. Or silence.
In this conversation. Or be quiet. Yeah.
Yeah. Or help me silence these other narratives.
Yep.
I also realize that God's voice is in some of those narratives. It's also allowing me to see what I care about. And that can be resourceful, especially if I need to flip it. If I need to like reprogram it, if I need to, change it. And so I'm really grateful for just the biggest resource I have, which is in God, and knowing that in every moment, he knows all the details. He knows every point of view. He has created points of, as a creator, at the highest level that we can't even comprehend, is literally a resource that I can reach out to in any moment.
Yep.
So
amen.
That being said, amen. I think that probably feels like the most profound in what I had also learned from this. And I want to publicly thank you for feeding me, first of all, giving me a drink, and listening. And I will be honest with you, he turned off like all distraction at that moment, which I know can all, like I walked into his space, which he was currently doing his own thing. And so he turned all those things off. He stopped, fed me, gave me something to drink, and listened.
There you go.
And to be honest, it was a surreal experience.
Oh, be a blessing to others.
Yeah, it was a complete blessing and pleasure to be able to like come to you in a space of vulnerability like that, for you to actually listen very well. And like, ladies and gentlemen, it's like I had coached him what to say to me because I needed to hear it.
Learn from the best.
It was great. And so I was just really grateful for that. And actually what also happened is I went to bed and I woke up because I had already told myself, I don't want to land on anything permanently about these people. I need to get some sleep. And so like when I woke up, I already had a different view, mindset, perspective, assumptions, different assumptions, but not bad ones.
Yeah.
And Yeah. So really grateful for that pivot.
Good.
It was a huge pivot for me. And
Great.
hopefully it was,
Yeah.
it was beneficial for you in some way as well.
It was great.
Yeah. Thank you. All right. Well, so thank you all for listening. That was the bit of the story.
Yeah.
Anything you wanted to finish with,
Nope,
babe?
that was it.
Okay.
I think we got it.
I love it. Okay.
Yeah.
So, also, if you want to support us, no cost, feel free to subscribe, share. Would love it. I would love to hear from you guys, like comments, thoughts, questions.
Sure.
What's the content you want to see? You want to see more Chad? You want to see whatever? Anyway, we would.
Are you still believing in Nessie?
Yeah, right. Is Nessie so? Yeah. Do you secretly rob candy stores? No, please don't say that. So anyway, a no cost way that you can support us is to do those things: share, follow, subscribe, comment, like, talk to us, whatever you want to do. And we would love it as we grow in this space. So, okay.
Next time.
Thank you so much. Thank you for listening. Until next time,
Fight me.
fight me.